Ever wonder why some relationships just seem to work for decades, while others that start off with so much fire just fizzle out? It's a question that, a lot of us have. Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful idea that might just hold the answer: Gary Chapman's concept of the 5 love languages. Chapman kicks off his book with a story about a guy he meets on an airplane. This man, he's been married 3 times, and he is just completely stumped. And he asks this one simple, powerful question. It's a question that gets right to the heart of a fear so many of us have. And his story is probably one you've heard before, right? Each time, he was absolutely sure he'd found the one. The romance was incredible, the feelings were just off the charts. But then, after the wedding, it was like a switch flipped. The connection just dissolved into arguments and resentment until, in his own words, all the love evaporated. He was just left wondering if a love that actually lasts is even possible. So, what is going on here? Well, Chapman argues that the problem starts with a huge misunderstanding. We mistake that initial, euphoric in love feeling for real lasting love. But it turns out they are 2 completely different things. And this contrast is absolutely crucial. That in-love feeling, it's basically an obsession. It's effortless, it's all-consuming, and get this, research says it only lasts for about 2 years on average. But real love, the kind that can go the distance, that's a choice. It's intentional. It takes work and discipline long after that initial high is gone. And that right there is the trap so many of us fall into. We think that initial feeling is the destination, when really, it's just the introduction. When it starts to fade, it's not a sign that something's wrong. It's just a natural, predictable part of the journey. The real work and the real love, that begins right after the obsession ends. Okay, so to understand what that real work actually looks like, Chapman gives us this simple but really profound metaphor that gets to the absolute core of what we need emotionally. He calls it the emotional love tank. The idea is simple. Every single one of us has this love tank inside. Our deepest human need is to feel genuinely loved and secure. So when our love tank is full, we're at our best. We thrive. But when it's running on empty, we feel disconnected. And that's when the relationship really starts to struggle. Keeping that tank full is everything. So why do these tanks run empty, even when both people are trying? Well, the core reason is surprisingly simple, but it's something we almost always miss. We are literally speaking different languages. We're showing love in our native tongue, but our partner might only understand a completely different one. And that's the whole key right there. You can be the most sincere person in the world, trying your absolute best to show love. But if your partner doesn't understand the language you're speaking, the message just doesn't get through. Their love tank stays empty. So what are these languages? Well, Chapman breaks it down into 5 core ways that people give and receive love, and understanding these is a total game changer. All right, here they are. First, you've got words of affirmation. This is all about using your words to build someone up. Simple things like, "You look incredible today," or "I'm so proud of you." Second is quality time, and I mean real quality time. Put the phone down, no distractions, just your focused, undivided attention. Then there's receiving gifts, where a thoughtful present becomes this tangible symbol of your love. Number 4 is acts of service. These are the actions that scream, "I care," like doing the dishes when it's not your turn. And finally, physical touch. A hug, holding hands, a touch on the shoulder, it can all be a powerful way to communicate love. Now, the crucial thing is, most of us have one primary language that fills our tank way more than the other. Okay, so theory is great, but the best way to really get this is to see it in action. Let's look at a case study from the book that just perfectly illustrates the whole problem and, of course, the solution. So let's meet Bill and Betty Jo. After 12 years together, their marriage was a wreck. They were barely speaking, fighting about everything, and both of them just felt completely and totally unloved. Their emotional love tanks were bone dry. Now, from Bill's point of view, he's doing everything right. He works hard, he provides for the family, he's showing his love through his actions, but he feels like he gets nothing back for it. He felt completely unappreciated because he wasn't getting that verbal praise he needed. But Betty Jo, she was seeing a totally different movie. To her, the big house and all the stuff, it meant nothing without Bill. She was lonely and felt disconnected. She didn't need a provider. She was desperate for a partner to actually share her life with. And here, when you lay it all out, you see the problem so clearly. Bill's primary language was words of affirmation. He needed to hear that he was valued. Betty Jo's was quality time. She needed his focused attention. And what were they both doing? They were both trying to show love through acts of service, a language that wasn't primary for either of them. So, of course, there was a total disconnect. He felt unappreciated, she felt lonely, they were missing each other completely. So here's the big aha moment. Their effort wasn't the problem, their method was. As soon as Bill started making a real point to set aside quality time for Betty Jo, and she started intentionally telling him how much she appreciated his hard work, everything changed. The entire feeling of their marriage transformed. It wasn't about loving harder, it was about loving smarter. And that is the secret Chapman is offering us. It's not about huge, grand gestures. It's about finding out what your partner's primary love language is and then making the choice to speak it consistently. That's what fills their emotional tank and keeps that connection strong. And if you're sitting there thinking, okay, but how do I figure this all out? Well, the book has a really simple quiz to help you and your partner identify your primary languages. It's a super practical first step that can lead to a massive breakthrough in just understanding each other. And that brings us to the final and really the most important question, the one this has all been leading to. Think about the most important person in your life. Are you speaking their language? Do you even know what it is? Because finding that out, that might just be the most loving thing you ever do.